Hello everybody, thank you for joining me in another episode of Imprint Impressions RC. I'm your host Dan, and today we are going to go over a couple things I got in the mail that are important to the hobby, that pretty much everybody that works on RC trucks and does all their own electrical should have, along with a couple other items. I'm going to start off first with this precious gem. It's a helping hands, and they are truly helpful. If you've ever done your own soldering, your own connectors, and you're sitting there and you're trying to hold wires together, by hand, it just doesn't work out very well. Especially if you're holding them inside of connectors. I don't solder. I use connectors, waterproof connectors. It's just a personal preference. Some people prefer soldering. I prefer using waterproof connectors. It works just as good. But these little gator clips will help me hold on to the wire while it's in the connector, so I can heat shrink it. The connectors I use have solder in them, and they're marine grade. So that's always important. But definitely get yourself a set of helping hands. These things are wonderful. And also, I'd like to take a minute. I am coming to you from my new workbench. It's the Yukon 48-inch workbench with a work light from Harbor Freight. I picked it up for $100. It took me 2.5 hours to put it together by myself, but I like this thing. It's nice. It's pretty sturdy, and even has a small little power strip on it too, a 3-outlet power strip. And it's got 2 drawers. It's got a shelf on the bottom. The light does have a shelf above it. Lots of workspace. I was working on top of my old toolbox. Now I have so much more room to do things. So very nice. I'm liking it a lot. Next up on the list, heat gun. These things are nice to have for heat shrinking and solder connectors that require a heat gun. Don't ever try to use a lighter. I made that mistake, and it's a great way to melt your wires. Use a heat gun. So this one has 2 settings. The first one is 480 degrees Fahrenheit, 249 degrees Celsius for those of you watching that don't measure in Fahrenheit. The second temperature is 850 degrees Fahrenheit, 455 degrees Celsius. It's a mini one. I haven't taken it out yet, but I tell you what, how about you join me on that little trip of taking this out? Well, folks, that is not mini at all. A book that's probably I'm never going to be able to understand. That is not mini at all. You compare that size of my hand. I have fairly big hands, but that's huge. It does have a rest. It's always a plus. And it does come with this. So this is once I spread it apart and put it on here, you actually put the wiring through here, and then when you have it on here, it reflects the heat back off of this back onto your wire. So that'll come in handy. I'll keep the book and attempt to read it. Usually the English instructions in those books, sometimes they're hard to understand. I have a lot of products like that, so we'll work with it. Next up, SCX 10.3 light set, white and red. So I have a Jeep Gladiator body for this that needs lights, needs headlights and taillights. So I went ahead and ordered the light set for that. And I'm going to be wiring up this 2-way switch to operate that off of my FlySky GT5. Next up is a spare two-way switch because, well, you can never have too many. You never know when one's going to just stop working on you. And then I have 4 of these. They came in a 4-pack. These are bead locks from RC Lions. And if you look closely, without the reflective glare, they look a little like old school axial bead locks, only not cheap plastic. And they're not vented. Yeah, they look a little like old school axial bead locks. They're kind of cool. I bought those for these, and I'm going to be installing my Goodyear Duratrack tires on this bad boy. What else we got? Oh, we got JST to JST wire connectors. So this goes from the red JST. I can't remember all the different JSTs. One's a Y. I think this is a Y. I can't remember all the different ones, but this takes you from the red JST to the black JST, and it's got male and female ends on both. So that always comes in handy, especially there's a lot of aftermarket lights and winches that you find on Amazon have those red JST connectors, but pretty much everything on our controllers, receivers, and everything else, how we operate stuff through switches and whatnot, are all black JST connectors. So it's nice to have adapters. Next, we have solder and seal wire connectors. It's got multiple pieces for all different gauge, from 26 all the way down to 10, or I should say all the way up to 10. And it's color coded for what size you need. And the solder and inner adhesives just melt right onto the wire. It's nice. I got 2 of these. This is a 120-piece kit. I got 2 of these on Amazon. They were super cheap. I think like $9. But that's all the new stuff I got in. I'm going to be probably going to do a video, probably installing the bead locks. For those of you that have never installed bead locks, you can get a first-hand view of how many screws there are and what it's like putting all of the screws in. I will tell you that a little compact cordless drill, like you've seen me use in my other videos, and or one of these little Fantics. I am no way, shape, and form sponsored by them or reimbursed by them at all. This is called the Nex E1 Max. It's this toolkit. Now I'm missing some out of here. I have 2 of these. I'm missing some out of here, but it comes with a whole bunch of different types of bits. Phillips, flat, Torx, hex, lots of different bits, squares. Yeah, it's handy to have, and that's the holding case, which is magnetic. And here's the actual tool itself. It's got a forward, got a back. It has a high lock where you can lock it so the buttons don't do anything, and then a low, which is basically just high and low speed. That's all that is. But it's kind of neat because it actually, the tool itself actually goes in there and locks in place. And then when you want it, you push this, tool pops out. It is rechargeable, uses a USB-C charger. I have 2 of those. They do work really well. They don't have a whole lot of torque to them, but they're good enough to get things started and allow you to come back with a hand tool and give them that little extra snug that they need. But yeah, I will be making a video of putting my bead locks on, just for, you know, like I said, for any of you out there that have never done bead locks, you can kind of see what it's like. But that's all the new stuff I have for today, folks. And please like and subscribe after watching the videos. And I will catch y'all on another episode of Imprint Impressions RC.